In today's Legal Smart legal expert, Alison Triessl joins us, and we are talking about the Turpin family.
Yeah, Louise and David Turpin, the parents of those 13 children, have been arrested and charged with torture, false imprisonment, and other abuse charges. Yesterday, a judge issuing a protective order.
Right.
So at this point, they cannot contact any of their children for 3 years.
Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Why 3 years, and what happens after that?
They're never going to contact them again. And that was actually very standard procedure to issue what's called a stay-away order. 3 years is just kind of legally the amount of time that it's given, but I can assure you in a case like this, which is really one of the worst cases of torture and child abuse I have ever seen, they will never have contact with their children again. The question, of course, will be how are these kids going to be able to get up there and testify against their parents?
Yeah. It's
going to take a lot of counseling and a lot of really spending time with them. One of the things the only thing that these parents allowed, they deprived them of everything: food, toys. They were allowed to shower once a year. I mean, it's depraved beyond words. The one thing they let them have were these journals. And what's going to be so interesting is that you can bet those journals, if they outline what was going on in their life, are going to be used against their parents. Yeah. No question.
It is fascinating to think about them having to testify because in this situation, this is a lot about control.
Right.
Right. So there's a chance in the future that one of the 13 may want to reach out because, you know, they're...
Of course. Of course. I mean, you have that where it's like a Stockholm syndrome, right? Yeah. Where you feel close to your captor who has literally held you in a prison your entire life. But I've talked to a lot of people about this. One of the questions that a lot of people have is what's going to happen to them? Such a big age gap, and so many of them. How are they going to work to try and keep them together? But a lot of people believe it is so important because that's really all they have is each other. They've gone through this. They have no idea what life is really like. According to the district attorney, they didn't. The 17-year-old that eventually called, she didn't know what the police were.
Yeah.
She didn't know what medicine was. They'd never been to a dentist. So everything is new to them. Their only constant are going to be their siblings.
So the oldest one was 29 years old.
Right.
She weighed 89 pounds.
Yeah.
There's reports now that she may have been taking some college classes. She was I guess in a public school for a while growing up. You know, there were signs because worst way to say it, she basically had to defecate in her pants, and some other students noticed, but you know, did the school never did anything about it, or I mean, where was anybody paying attention?
And that's the thing, is that there's got to be a thorough investigation where there are signs there that were missed. This private school idea that someone can register a private school, the only people enlisted in the school are his kids, and he's the principal, and there's no state investigation, there's no certification, no one comes and does a check on it. I think as a result of this horrific case, there will be very positive changes. Yeah. That any time someone lists a private school, there's going to be checks, there's going to be certifications, because there has to be. People, you know, and I know a lot of the neighbors are feeling horribly guilty about it, but we have to educate people on what to look for, because this was systematic for years in different locations, in 4 different locations, and there's got to be things that we can do better to protect these kids. Now, I do want to say quickly about the charges. They are looking at between 94 and life. There are 12 counts of torture. The maximum of each of those counts is life in prison. I do not believe these two will ever get out of prison. I know that their defense attorney is thinking about trying to change venues, but I don't think it will really matter. The facts are so abhorrent.
Oh. Yeah. Alison, thank you for talking about it and clarifying some of those points. Joey could talk for hours about it.
Yeah.
All right, Alison, thank you.